Book summary: How to Be Better at Almost Everything by Pat Flynn. Do you ever feel like you're spreading yourself too thin? Today, we're exploring Pat Flynn's compelling book, How to Be Better at Almost Everything. This isn't your average self-improvement guide. Flynn encourages us to become generalists, not specialists. It's about honing a broad range of skills and applying them in every aspect of your life. Imagine the freedom, the adaptability, the sheer potential. But how do we do it? Let's dive into the chapters and discover how to become adept at just about anything. The first chapter starts with a bang, arguing that the pursuit of perfection can be our downfall. Yes, you heard it right. Flynn boldly challenges the conventional wisdom that tells us to aim for perfection. Instead, he suggests that we should be striving for good enough to get better results. Now, you might be wondering, why would anyone settle for just good enough? Isn't perfection the ultimate goal? But here's the catch. Flynn points out that perfectionism often leads to a dangerous cycle of procrastination and inaction. When we aim for perfection, we set an unattainable standard for ourselves and end up fearing failure, which in turn prevents us from taking the necessary actions to make progress. Imagine this. You're an artist and you want to create a masterpiece, but the fear of not being able to create a perfect painting paralyzes you. So instead of creating a good enough painting, you end up creating nothing. This is where Flynn's argument comes into play. He suggests that rather than focusing on perfection, we should focus on being good enough. This means setting achievable goals and taking consistent actions towards those goals. It's about improving and learning as you go along, rather than waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect skills to start. Flynn also stresses that being good enough doesn't mean settling for mediocrity. It means accepting that we can't be perfect and embracing the process of continuous improvement. It's about realizing that making mistakes is part of the journey, and it's through these mistakes that we learn and grow. In essence, Flynn encourages us to break free from the shackles of perfectionism and embrace the philosophy of good enough. This approach not only alleviates the pressure of perfection, but also paves the way for us to take action, make progress, and ultimately achieve our goals. So, remember, don't let the pursuit of perfection hinder your progress. Rather, strive for good enough and let the journey of continuous improvement lead you to success. Now let's talk about the freedom to choose, even if you choose wrongly. A pivotal concept in Pat Flynn's book, How to Be Better at Almost Everything, is the liberty to make decisions, even if they lead to mistakes. Flynn emphasizes that this freedom is not a luxury, but a necessity in the pursuit of excellence. Imagine a bird learning to fly. It doesn't soar into the sky on its first try. It stumbles, falls, and gets back up again. Each failed attempt is not a step backward, but a leap forward. This is because the act of making mistakes is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to courage. It's about embracing the risk of failure to gain the reward of growth. Flynn believes that the fear of making mistakes often holds us back from reaching our potential. We are so focused on getting it right the first time that we become paralyzed by the thought of getting it wrong. But the truth is, it's only through making mistakes that we learn, improve, and evolve. This is where the freedom for excellence comes into play. It's about giving ourselves the permission to make mistakes. It's about understanding that it's okay to choose wrongly, as long as we are willing to learn from our errors and make changes. Flynn likens this to a journey. We may take a wrong turn, hit a dead end, or even get lost along the way, but each detour teaches us something new and brings us closer to our destination. The bumps and bruises we acquire along the way are not symbols of defeat, but badges of honor. They are proof of our resilience, determination, and commitment to growth. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Embrace them, learn from them, grow from them. Remember, it's not about getting it right all the time. It's about giving yourself the freedom to choose, even if you choose wrongly. This is the path to excellence. So give yourself the freedom to make mistakes and learn from them. Are you ready to become a jack of all trades and a master of, well, most? Let's dive into the fascinating world of Pat Flynn's 5 key principles for becoming what he calls an expert generalist. First up, we have the principle of skill stacking. Flynn proposes that instead of trying to be the absolute best at one thing, we should aim to be pretty good at a lot of things. By stacking our skills, we become uniquely valuable. Imagine being a good writer, a decent public speaker, and also having a knack for digital marketing. That's a potent combination right there. Next, Flynn talks about the law of diminishing returns. This principle states that after a certain point, additional effort yields less significant results. It's about finding a sweet spot between effort and outcome. You don't have to be a world-class chef. Being a good home cook will suffice for most occasions. The third principle is embracing the experimental approach. Flynn encourages us not to be afraid of failure, but to see it as a part of the learning process. Experimentation leads to discovery, and discovery leads to growth. It's all about being open to new experiences and learning opportunities. The fourth principle is the power of adaptability. Flynn emphasizes the importance of being flexible and adaptable. The ability to adjust and respond to changing circumstances is a powerful tool in any generalist's toolkit. The world is ever-changing, and so should we be. Finally, Flynn presents the principle of reciprocal enhancement. This is the idea that learning one skill can enhance our ability in another. For instance, learning to play a musical instrument can improve our mathematical ability. Each skill we learn doesn't exist in isolation, but enhances our overall abilities. Remember, being a generalist doesn't mean being average at many things, but being good at many things. And these 5 principles, these tools, can guide us on our journey to become expert generalists. So, why not give it a shot? There's a whole world of skills out there waiting for you to master them. Ever wondered how you can improve your skills faster? Let's delve into Pat Flynn's strategies for practicing effectively and improving rapidly. Firstly, Flynn advises that we focus on one skill at a time. It's tempting to juggle multiple skills simultaneously, but our brains aren't wired for multitasking. When we concentrate on a single skill, we give it our full attention and energy, leading to quicker and more solid progress. Next, Flynn recommends what he calls micro-progressions. These are tiny, almost insignificant improvements that, over time, compound into impressive results. It's about consistency, not intensity. So instead of trying to leap forward, take small, manageable steps consistently. Flynn's third strategy is to embrace the suck. As the phrase suggests, it's about accepting that we're not going to be great at a new skill right away. It's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to be challenging, but that's part of the process. Embrace it, accept it, and keep going. Fourthly, Flynn suggests interleaving, a technique where you switch between related skills within a single practice session. Say you're learning to play the guitar. Instead of spending an hour on chords, spend 15 minutes on chords, 15 minutes on strumming, 15 minutes on scales, and 15 minutes on a song. This technique keeps the brain active and engaged, helping you to learn faster. The final strategy is to seek feedback. Flynn emphasizes that we should actively seek constructive criticism. It's not always easy to hear, but it's crucial for improvement. Whether it's from a teacher, a peer, or even a self-review, feedback helps us identify our weak areas and work on them. In conclusion, Flynn's strategies for effective practice and rapid improvement revolve around focused learning, consistent micro-progressions, embracing the initial struggle, interleaving, and seeking feedback. Remember, the goal isn't to become perfect overnight. It's about steady, consistent improvement. So, practice smart, not hard. So, where do you begin in this journey to become an expert generalist? Well, it all starts with something called meta skills. Meta skills, simply put, are the skills behind the skills. They're the fundamental abilities that enable you to learn, adapt, and master any specific skill. They are the critical foundation of becoming a generalist. You see, while specific skills can be seen as the bricks that build a house, meta skills are the cement that holds everything together. They are the elements that allow you to understand, absorb, and apply any specific skill you may want to learn. Let's delve into a few examples of these meta skills. First, we have curiosity. Curiosity is the drive that fuels your desire to learn. It's the spark that ignites the flame of knowledge. Without curiosity, the process of learning can become a chore, rather than a journey of discovery. Next, there's creativity. Creativity allows you to think outside the box, to see connections where others might not, and to approach problems from different angles. It's a vital meta skill that can help you adapt to new situations and come up with innovative solutions. Then, there's resilience. The path to mastery is often filled with obstacles and setbacks. Resilience is the meta skill that helps you to keep going, to pick yourself up after a fall, and to persist in the face of adversity. Let's not forget about critical thinking. This is the meta skill that allows you to analyze information, to question assumptions, and to make reasoned judgments. It's an essential tool in your quest to become an expert generalist. And finally, we have emotional intelligence. This is the capacity to understand and manage your own emotions and to interact effectively with others. It's a crucial ingredient in the recipe for success in any field. By developing these meta skills, you equip yourself with the tools needed to learn and master any specific skill. They are the foundation upon which you can build your house of expertise. Master these meta skills and you're on your way to becoming a generalist. Now, let's delve into the skills you may or may not need. Our journey through life is a constant process of learning and mastering skills. Some of these skills are driven by our interests, while others are necessary for our survival and progress. But how do we strike a balance between the two? Imagine we have a vast spectrum of skills. On one end, we have the skills we are passionate about, those that make our hearts beat faster. These could be anything from painting to coding, dancing, or even brewing the perfect cup of coffee. These are our interest-based skills, the ones that bring us joy and make life more fulfilling. On the other end of the spectrum, we have the necessary skills. These are the skills that we may not be particularly interested in, but they are essential for our daily lives. They could include things like budgeting, cooking, or even basic home repairs. These skills may not set our hearts on fire, but they certainly keep the fire in our homes burning. Now here's the million-dollar question. How do we balance between these two types of skills? The answer lies in understanding that life is not a zero-sum game. We don't have to choose between being a master of one or a jack of all trades. We can be both, and here's how. First, prioritize the necessary skills. These are the skills that directly impact your survival and well-being. They require consistent practice and dedication. However, this doesn't mean you should neglect your interest-based skills. These skills add color to our lives, they fuel our creativity, and they often provide a much-needed escape from our routine. Second, consider the synergy between skills. Often skills are interconnected, and mastering one can help in improving another. For instance, learning to play a musical instrument can enhance your listening skills, which in turn could improve your language learning abilities. So, in this dance of skills, let's strive to strike a balance. Let's master the necessary skills, indulge in our interests, and understand that we can be both practical and passionate. Remember, the key is to focus on necessary skills, but don't neglect your interests. So, what can we take away from this enlightening book by Pat Flynn? First and foremost, Flynn dispels the myth that we need to excel in one single area to be successful. Instead, he advocates for becoming an expert generalist, a person skilled in many areas who can integrate and apply this knowledge in unique and profound ways. This approach not only enhances our adaptability in an ever-changing world, but also enriches our personal and professional lives, making them more interesting, creative, and fulfilling. One of the core tenets of Flynn's philosophy is that great can often be the enemy of good. This means that striving for perfection can sometimes hinder progress, especially when it leads to procrastination or fear of failure. By aiming for good enough and continuously improving, we can achieve more and experience the joy of growth and accomplishment. Gaining our freedom for excellence, as Flynn puts it, involves giving ourselves the permission to choose, even if it means choosing wrongly at times. It's through these experiences, both positive and negative, that we learn and grow. We gain insights into what works and what doesn't, and we become better decision makers and problem solvers as a result. The book also offers invaluable advice on how to practice better and improve faster. Flynn emphasizes the importance of deliberate practice and intelligent repetition. It's not about mindlessly repeating the same task, but rather about constantly seeking feedback, making adjustments, and pushing ourselves out of our comfort zones. Flynn further distinguishes between the skills we may be interested in, but may not need, and the skills we may need, but may not be interested in. He encourages us to strike a balance between the two, to pursue our passions and interests while also acquiring the necessary skills for our well-being and success. And then there's the concept of meta skills, the foundational skills like critical thinking, problem solving, and effective communication, which can be applied across a range of contexts and pursuits. Developing these meta skills can significantly enhance our ability to learn new skills, adapt to new situations, and thrive in various aspects of life. In essence, Flynn's book encourages us to embrace a holistic approach to personal development, one that values breadth over depth, continuous improvement over perfection, and adaptability over specialization. It's about enriching our lives through a diverse range of skills and experiences and becoming better at almost everything we do. So embark on this journey of becoming an expert generalist and see how it transforms your life. Key takeaways from the book. 1. General approach. Embrace generalism. Mastering multiple skills is more valuable than being an expert in just one. Skill stacking. Combine your diverse skills to create unique value and a competitive edge. Practice, not perfection. Focus on consistent practice over aiming for immediate mastery. Incremental improvement. Celebrate small wins and progress over time. 2. Learning skills. Learn anything in an hour. Dedicate 1 hour per day to focused, deliberate practice. Embrace imperfection. Don't let fear of failure hinder your learning journey. Find high-quality resources. Seek out effective teachers, courses, and learning materials. Apply what you learn. Don't just consume information. Put it into practice and iterate. 3. Building success. Find your passions. Identify skills you naturally enjoy and are motivated to learn. Transform passions into paychecks. Develop your skills into services or products people value. Build your personal brand. Showcase your unique skill set and value proposition. Network and connect. Build relationships with others who can support your goals. 4. Additional principles. Discipline and focus. Cultivate these key habits to maximize your learning and progress. Logic and persuasion. Develop strong communication and critical thinking skills. Faith and belief. Trust in your ability to learn and achieve your goals. Thank you for watching and sharing. By Book Summary by PM.